Imagine this for a sec. You walk into a dealership and buy a brand new electric car for less than the price of a brand new iPhone. Sounds like clickbait, right? It's not. This is already happening in China, and now these cars are rolling into Europe, and possibly the US soon. These aren't clunky, bare-bones machines either. They're stylish, practical, packed with surprising tech, and some are so cheap they'll make you question why you're still paying tens of thousands for a gas car. In fact, one of them costs just $5,000. That's right, a brand new EV for less than some people spend on an e-bike. And trust me, when we get to number 1 on this list, you'll see why Western automakers are sweating bullets. So buckle up. Here are the top 5 Chinese city cars that are about to shock the world. Kicking off the list is the Nio Firefly. At first glance, this little hatchback looks like it belongs in a premium European showroom. Sleek lines, short, sporty proportions, and futuristic headlights that give it real personality. The two-tone paint jobs are next level. Think lime green with a glossy black roof or lavender paired with crisp white. But don't let its playful size fool you. Underneath, the Firefly packs a battery good for about 300 kilometers of real-world range. That's more than enough for daily city driving and even light highway trips on the weekend. And here's a surprise you don't expect in a so-called budget EV, rear-wheel drive. That means it actually feels sporty in corners, giving you driving fun without Tesla-level prices. Step inside and it gets even better. Instead of cheap plastic and bare dashboards, the Firefly greets you with a clean, minimalist cabin straight out of a luxury car. You get a massive floating touchscreen, a sharp digital driver display, hidden air vents, and at night, ambient lighting strips that glow like something out of a premium BMW. Higher trims even include heated seats, surround sound, and yes, a built-in fragrance system that pumps designer scents into the cabin. And here's the kicker. In China, the Nio Firefly starts at just $16,000. In Europe, it'll land around 23,000 euros. Right-hand drive versions are confirmed for the UK. And if this somehow sneaks into the US under 25 grand, Western automakers are in big trouble. At number 4, we've got the BYD Seagull. Don't let the name fool you. This bird doesn't waddle. It soars. From the outside, it looks like a hot hatch that shrank in the wash but kept its attitude. Angry headlights that stretch back into the fenders, coupe-like sidelines with hidden door handles, and a glowing full-width rear light bar that makes it look like a futuristic concept car. Compared to a Volkswagen Polo, the Seagull makes the Polo look like it belongs in a museum. But here's where it really impresses. Under the skin, you can choose between a 30 kilowatt-hour or 38 kilowatt-hour battery, giving you up to 400 kilometers of range. That's insane for an entry-level EV. And yes, it supports fast charging, 30% to 80% in just half an hour. Inside, BYD didn't cut corners either. The dashboard is modern and clean, with a rotating touchscreen that lets you flip between portrait and landscape. Safety hasn't been ignored either. Lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, and 6 airbags are all on the menu. Try finding that in a Western car for this price. Speaking of price, here's the jaw drop. The Seagull starts at just $11,000 in China. That's basically scooter money in the West. Rumors suggest it'll launch in Europe under the name Dolphin Mini for around 20,000 euros, starting in Spain and Italy. And if BYD ever manages to ship this into the US, say goodbye to the idea of a cheap $25,000 Corolla. The Seagull could flip the entire entry-level car market upside down. Sliding into number 3, we have the Wuling Bingo. And this car proves that cheap doesn't mean boring. The Bingo's design is a playful mashup of a Mini Cooper and a Fiat 500, with round, friendly headlights and bright two-tone color schemes that make it look like rolling street art. But under that cheerful face, you get practical numbers, 200 to 300 kilometers of range, depending on the version. Thanks to its lightweight, it feels zippy in traffic, the kind of car that makes short city hops fun instead of frustrating. The interior leans into style too, with pastel-colored seats, a funky 2-spoke steering wheel, and a big horizontal touchscreen at the center. Wireless charging and voice control come standard on higher trims, making it feel fresh and modern without going over the top. Here's the shocker. The Wuling Bingo starts at just $9,000 in China. Yes, 9 grand for a new EV, and if it lands in Europe under 15,000 euros, cars like the Fiat 500 and Renault Twingo are in serious danger of extinction. For many buyers, this is cheaper than picking up a used gas hatchback, and that's exactly why Western automakers are watching Wuling with nervous eyes. Now at number 2, things start to get crazy. Meet the Leapmotor T3. This pint-sized city car looks like a futuristic smart car, but with more flair. Big cartoonish headlights, hidden door handles, bold color options like sea blue or panda pink. It's a car that screams urban life. But the real shock is under the hood. A battery pack that delivers up to 400 kilometers of range. For a car this small, that's unheard of. And because it's lightweight, the T3 zips through traffic like a go-kart. Perfect for tight European streets or crowded US downtowns. Step inside and you won't believe the price. The T3 has a large central touchscreen with built-in apps, a digital driver display, and even driver assistance features like adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. The panoramic glass roof option makes the cabin feel airy, and while the seats are slim, they're surprisingly comfortable. So how much does all this cost? Just $8,000 $20,000 in China. Let that sink in. It feels like a $25,000 car, but it's 1/3 of the price. Leapmotor is partnering with Stellantis to enter Europe, with markets like France, Italy, and the UK already on the radar. And if it ever touches US soil under $20,000, it could completely wipe out the idea of a budget gas compact. And finally, number 1, the car that started a movement, the Wuling Guang Mini EV. From the outside, it looks like a toy car you'd buy your kid. Boxy, tiny, and unapologetically simple. The square headlights, flat sides, and pastel paint jobs make it look like a rolling Lego brick. But don't laugh, because this little car has become nothing short of a phenomenon. Inside, it's minimalist to the extreme. 4 seats squeezed into a tiny footprint, a simple digital driver display, and physical switches for the basics. No giant screens here, just clever packaging. The flat dashboard even doubles as a shelf, so you can toss your phone or coffee right in front of you. And here's the number that breaks the game. The Guang Mini EV starts at just $5,000. That's less than many people spend on an e-bike. It's no wonder it has already sold over 1 million units in China, making it the best-selling EV in the entire country. In Europe, a slightly upgraded version is already being tested, starting at around 10,000 euros. Still, that's unbeatable. If this ever made it to the US at anywhere near that price, it would redefine what entry-level means. Here's the part that's making Western automakers lose sleep. The rise of these ultra-cheap Chinese EVs isn't just about quirky city cars. It's reshaping the entire global EV market. China has mastered economies of scale. With massive domestic demand, EV makers like BYD, Wuling, and Leapmotor can crank out cars at costs Western companies simply can't match. They've built entire supply chains around batteries, rare earth materials, and software integration, giving them a huge advantage in pricing. The ripple effects are already obvious. Europe is nervous. Countries like Spain, Italy, and France are bracing for a flood of sub-20,000 € Chinese EVs that undercut Renault, Fiat, and Volkswagen. The EU has even launched probes into Chinese subsidies, trying to slow the invasion. The US market is vulnerable. Right now, tariffs keep most Chinese EVs out, but if just one model sneaks in under $20,000, it could reset consumer expectations overnight. Imagine a family comparing a $5,000 Guang Mini EV to a $25,000 Chevy Bolt. Game over. Legacy automakers are scrambling. Companies like Ford, GM, and even Toyota are under pressure to slash costs, rethink their supply chains, and figure out how to compete on value instead of just brand name. And here's the kicker. It's not just about affordability. These Chinese EVs prove you don't need to sacrifice style, tech, or practicality for a low price. That changes the rules completely. So there you have it. 5 Chinese city cars that prove the future of mobility isn't just electric, it's affordable. These aren't just budget cars, they're stylish, fun, and in some cases, packed with tech that you'd never expect at these prices. Western automakers are nervous, and for good reason. If cars like the Guang Mini EV or the Leapmotor T3 ever land in the US, the entry-level gas market could collapse overnight. But here's the question. Would you actually buy one of these? Could you see yourself daily driving a $5,000 or $8,000 EV, or is it just too small and too different for your lifestyle? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know. And don't forget to subscribe, because in the next video, we're breaking down the 10 cheapest Chinese family SUVs that are about to flip the market just like these city cars did. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.